Hello family and friends, it's Kim here from Kim's Country Corner, and this weekend I'm out at the Hancock Homestead. I have a few more projects to work on, but before I get started on my work, I wanted to do the August walk around. This is the third week in August, and it's time to do a walk around. Now, I'm going to forewarn you that the cottage garden flowers have gone over. They're not the prettiest and they need to be deadheaded. But I've had my mind on so many other projects that I'm afraid the front of the cottage garden has gotten put on the back burner for now. But anyway, we're going to take a look at everything. We're going to take a look at the good, the beautiful, the bad, the ugly, and you're just going to get the whole picture. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this August walk around, because as my shirt says, and into the garden I go to lose my mind and find my soul. So I just love being in my garden. And we're going to take a look at the whole homestead and the various gardens here. All right, let's go take a look. Okay, so we are going to start up here at the cottage garden. My cottage garden actually has two sides. It has the side closest to the house, where most of the flowers are at right now. And then it has what I call the north garden. And this is the garden that we've prepped to get ready for next year. But I'll tell you more about plans as we go. But anyway, we're going to start up here by the house. At the cottage garden. This cottage garden is north of the house, so this is a north facing garden. However, because we have scooted it away from the house, it gets full sun. So I'm very happy that I can plant full sun flowers in there. All right, here we go. So we have been doing a lot of work on the homestead this summer. Adding gravel to various locations, adding mulch to various beds, developing new beds, revamping old beds. So a lot of work has been done during the end of July and the first part of August here, and I will show you some of those improvements as we go. So up here we have the old plow, and we did mulch. We scraped out all the old and remulched the new there. And then we revamped the pump by adding new gravel. And that pump does work. My grandsons were out yesterday helping me with a project, and I forgot to look for toys. But anyway, let me show you that he was actually using this pump yesterday, because that was his water truck. And that is actually a road grader, and that was actually John's. Yes, John is 73 this year, so I'm not sure when he got that road grader, but let's say he got it when he was 3. That toy there is 70 years old, and our son played with it, and now our grandsons are playing with it. So this homestead has been in the Hancock family since 1851. John was born in 1951, so all I have to do is add 100 years onto John's age. So that means that this farm has been in his family for 173 years. And a lot of the things on the farm are originals. All right. So here's the cottage garden. The sunflower is a little bit past prime. It's getting past prime, but it's still providing for these honeybees, these bumblebees. And the finches have been out here on it. I think I took a picture at its prime, so I will try to remember to insert a picture. Okay, so besides the sunflower, which is beautiful, And it was a volunteer sunflower from the bird feeders. I'll go through real quick kind of what I have up here. I don't know the names to all the plants, but I'll tell you what I do know. Oh, there's another bumble. So these are Asiatic lilies. They have a beautiful yellow top with a red throat. They're just beautiful. And then these are blanket flowers and tick seed or coreopsis. Fireball, bee balm. Like I said, everything needs to be watered and deadheaded. But it is what it is. It's the middle of August and it's hot and dry. We finally have some dry weather. And and then this up here in the front is fruit punch dianthus. And then those were salsa red coneflowers. And then those back there were hot papaya coneflowers. And this back here is a red petunia that must have been left over from last year, because I did not plant anything in the baskets this year. And yeah, it's blooming. So you never know what Mother Nature's going to give you. Those down there are irises. They were from my brother's home. They're red. These up here are irises too, and they were red and yellow. And the irises are going to be dug out and divided this year. So, and then here at the Mary, I have red Asiatic lilies on each side. And then there are, pardon me, red daylilies on each side. And for those of you who have watched me before, you already know this, but if you're new, I try to repeat planting. So everything I have planted up here on this side is also planted down here on this side. So that would be the east side up there. And then down here is the west side. All right, and so after the Asiatic lilies, there are more dianthuses. There are more of the salsa red coneflowers, and there are more of the hot papaya coneflowers. The coneflowers were beautiful this year. The second flush wasn't quite as beautiful. It didn't quite get to where I wanted it to be, but that's okay. But I did have a terrible time this year with leaf spot because of the rains, the early rains. Now it's just dry. Anyway, and then that back there is a butterfly bush. And it's called Black Knight Butterfly Bush. And I also used to have a Black Knight Butterfly Bush up here behind the sunflower, but it died, so, and I have yet to replace it. All right, so then we have some more of the tick seed or the coreopsis. And right now I cannot remember the name. We have some more of the fireball bee balm. We have some more of these Asiatic lilies, and they're going to have to be dug up and separated also because they're starting to take over this bed down here. They're starting to rule out the bee balm. And then we have some more of the yellow and red irises, which need to be dug up, separated, treated for leaf spot. What I plan to do down here this fall, and I've told you guys this before, is this fall, this is getting a revamp. This whole garden is going to get a revamp. I don't like how crowded my patio has become. My patio down here is actually 4 stones wide, but you can't even see the 4th one because of all the grasses that have grown up into the irises. So my plan this fall is to dig up all of those grasses and irises, and of course separate the irises out. But then instead of putting them back there, I'm going to put down a gravel border similar to what's here, and it's gonna give me a border all the way around, even back here in the back. I used to try to plant things back here, and it's just not a very good planting place. And then I'll have a gravel border on this side too, so that you can actually see the whole patio. And all of this has to be dug up and separated because the grasses just took over. However, I did manage to get some of the grasses pulled out over here on this area. But as you can see, I have not been out to weed this area because I've been concentrating on other areas. But this fall, I will continue to pull out weeds and grasses. And then what I plan to do is build up the soil level, because you can see where the soil level has sunken down. So I'm going to build up the soil level, cover it with cardboard or newspaper, and then mulch. So this area should look better, I hope. Okay, so then coming around here to the north side of the cottage garden, this area, we had to tear out a bunch of boxwoods because they were dead. I think we're even going to go ahead and tear out that one. And then we'll eventually put in some kind of shrub. Not sure what yet, but I'm leaning towards boxwoods because I really do like boxwoods. But I don't want any more trouble with them, so I still haven't decided. As you can see, the apple tree is still dropping apples. This is a Macintosh. Look at all those apples up there. And then look at all the apples that have just dropped overnight. This is just an overnight dropping because I had come out yesterday and picked up apples. And I got a bucket and a half yesterday. And we already have 10 gallons frozen. 10-gallon size bags frozen, and of course we have more to freeze, and we're starting to get more because the apples are getting bigger. So awesome, excellent apple crop this year. This is the Macintosh. And then this is the one Red Delicious that we have producing apples, and you can see that it is loaded. In fact, it probably needs to be thinned out, and some of the apples have started dropping. But thankfully, the Red Delicious apples do not drop their most fruit until the middle of September. So we're able to process Macintosh during August and then process the Red Delicious during September. But in the future, we're going to have a lot more fruit to process because these two trees are supposed to be antique cherry. But I have a call in to Stark Brothers because they don't look to me like they're doing anything. And John says they're dead. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with the antique cherries. They were bare root trees versus the other trees, which were potted trees. So I don't know if that has something to do with the way they look, but I do have a call in to Stark Brothers. And so after the antique cherries, then down here we have two Bing cherries. Now the Bings don't look just too bad. They're doing okay. A little yellowing on the leaves, but it is hot and dry, and I've been trying to keep them watered, but lots of projects going on. And we still need to get them all wrapped with the white plastic wrapping, and we need to get the tree skirts down and get them mulched, and we need to get them staked. So we still have quite a bit of work to do on this orchard. But I'm very happy that we at least have the trees in. Like this tree here is going to be a standard Bing. That's what Emma had. And so we're replacing her standard Bing. Now her standard Bing was up a little bit further, but we don't want to plant in the exact same place. And I wanted an opening through here so I could look out my window to see a future evergreen that I plan on planting. Anyway, and then over here is a lilac, and then it's an old-fashioned lilac. And then this second row of trees here, these are all delicious. So these two are golden delicious. These two are red delicious. And then we have that red delicious. And these are looking so good. I'm very happy with the way they're progressing. And then over here, to go along with this Macintosh, we planted 2 more Macintosh. Mainly because those main trees are not going to live forever, so we need replacements, but also because we really like Macintosh. They taste good fresh. They make awesome pies. So yeah. So now we're going to have plenty of Macintosh. Go ahead down here to the trumpet vine, which is just exploding with color. But good news, sad news. The sad news is we're going to have to rip out this trumpet vine. Because the good news is we're going to be putting in water. We're going to finally get the water put in for the hydrants. And although it looks like he's got it painted where he might go around it. Anyway, I thought he told me he might have to rip that out, but it looks like he might go around instead. Okay, so anyway, I don't know what's going to happen with the trumpet vine, but I know this is getting too big, and it has busted through the container that I had it planted in because it's starting to send out runners, starting to send out shoots, and I don't want that. I don't want those runners. So he said he could dig it up for me, so I might I'll probably go ahead and have him dig it up since he's going to have the equipment. And then if I can save some of the root system, I might try to replant it in a tub again, like I had the first time. Or I might just have to forego it. But I do love the trumpet vine. I just don't like the runners. And they do pull in the hummingbirds. I mean, goodness gracious, the hummingbirds just love these flowers because they're trumpet flowers and they're just made for their little beaks to go into. So if I can, I'm going to try to keep the trumpet vine, but try to get it repotted so that we don't have those little runner shoots. Suckers, that's what they're called. So we don't have the suckers. All right, and then here are the other shrubs. I always forget the name of that one. Emma planted that one a long time ago. It was like the only shrub here. And I need to ask John again, and I need to write it down. Anyway, it is beautiful in the spring. A little bird sitting up there. Okay, and I know that this is a mock orange. It's very dry. It's suffering from heat and dryness, but it'll bounce back. It always has. That's a mock orange. This is a mock orange. And then this is, I think it's called a service berry. But it has these little purple berries on it that the birds just love. So that's my main reason for planting it, because if you look at birding information, they'll tell you that this is one of the popular plants for birds. The only thing is that it blooms so much later than my other shrubs that in the spring it looks kind of odd because it looks like it's actually dead when it's not. So if I can get past that fact, it's really a pretty nice shrub. I'm glad to see all the berries on it for the birds. All right, and then here's that mushroom, part of that mushroom ring. Okay, so I'm going to insert a clip here. And this clip is going to show what it looked like at the end of July, like the last day of July, the 1st of August. And it's going to show the whole fairy ring and it's going to show this gate garden at its fullest. Okay, family and friends, so I just got back from my trip with my sister Jody. We went to Wisconsin, and while I was gone, or before I had left, I had asked John, I said, hey, while I'm gone, try not to mow down the mushrooms. And so he didn't. He left them standing, and I'll show you. So like here are the 2 older ones that I had shown you in the very first video. And then here are like 4 of the older ones that I had shown you. But, and then those 2 over there. So there are the 6 older ones. But as you can see, we've had new ones pop up. And the new ones have formed a circle. So that's where you get the fairy ring circle, is because they do make a ring of sorts. And so yeah, I was wondering if that was going to happen. The kids' garden has just exploded with color. So let me show that to you real quick. Pardon any weeds, because I came out today to check for weeds and I have not weeded yet. But yeah, just look at this. And look at that zinnia. Isn't that beautiful? And it's funny because these cosmos were supposed to be yellow and orange, and I accidentally grabbed the wrong package. So on Emma's side, they ended up being the pink and white, I think it was, but that's okay. It still looks very pretty. And Emma and I had a really good time planting her garden. Emma's side is very, very pretty. And then Jackson, he planted all of the sunflowers. And so they're starting to get up there nice and tall. And then this over here is Jeffrey's side. And so Jeffrey's zinnias look really pretty. And then you can see that his cosmos, which are somewhat taller, are the right color. So, and that's why we put the cosmos in the back, because we knew they were going to be taller. At least Jeffrey's were. So, and I don't see the marigolds. Oh, so I see this one here has a little bloom on it. I thought they would be bloomed out by now. But anyway, isn't that just so pretty? I decided to go with yellows this year. So, and then one of the reasons I went with yellows is because this gate garden eventually started out as Paul's garden. My goal was to have a garden for each kid, okay? And so the gate garden had eventually started out as Paul's garden, because Paul used to climb on those gates when he was a kid and look for his dad to come in from the fields. Now these were over by the barn. So the gates were over by the barn. And Paul would climb those gate panels and watch his dad tend the cows, the cattle out there. And of course, eventually we got rid of the cattle and we took down the fence panels and we took down the gates. And so the gates have been stored in the barn. And I told John one year, I said, hey, I really want to use those gates as the backdrop to a garden. So that's how the gate garden got started. And that's how Paul's garden got started. Well, my son is colorblind and he cannot see the colors red and green. So I always said that in Paul's garden, I would plant flowers that he could see. Well, Paul's not home all the time. And so anyway, so as the years went on, I would just plant whatever I felt like planting. And a lot of times it would be red zinnias or whatever I had left over from the cottage garden would come down here to Paul's garden. Well, this year I went, okay, Paul's going to be home this year. So this year I want to make sure I have plants that he can see. Well, he can see the color yellow. So that's why I went with yellow zinnias and yellow cosmos and yellow marigolds, is because he can see the color yellow. And yeah,
I don't know what the jungle looks like.
They'll have to be a few inches for to go in the jar. Yeah, it'll probably work. We'll make it work.
Okay. This one is huge.
It is huge. And you grew that.
Remember the types of flowers I have? I printed out 3
Guess how many you planted? Do you remember the names?
No. I think I planted
Jackson planted all the sunflowers, Mom.
I think I did. I got this one for you, this one for you.
Good job.
Emma. Wow. It's taller than me. Yeah. Look at that sunflower. That's so cool.
You can pick more than 3. I just wanted at least 3.
Okay.
Thank you. We're going to go put them. Can you hold on to them? We're going to go put them in the jar.
Sure.
Good job, Jackson.
Jeffrey gets to pick his first.
Now he gets to go next. Good job.
In the jar.
Being careful with that pruner.
Wow, these are pretty. Look how big this one is.
These here, guys, these tall ones here, these are called Cosmos. And Emma, see your pink one?
Yeah.
That's also a Cosmos. Do you see how different they are? How the same flower can be different?
Yeah.
Jackson, what did you grow? Yes, you did.
Grandma.
Uh-huh.
Nice and long, nice
Are
and
these
longer,
green
longer,
the
longer,
seeds?
longer,
Those, yep, they will eventually turn into seeds.
longer.
Yeah, you might have to get some longer ones, sweetie, because they got to go into a tall jar.
It's okay, cut more.
Yeah, just cut more. We'll lay those next to the jar.
Like way, like I need to be able to put my hand in there. There, cut below my hand.
Grandma.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna hold these.
I will. And then, but I want you to help me put them in the jar. Will you help me put it in the jar? Here. Oh, you're going to hold those? Okay.
Are we getting separate jars?
Well, I was just going to do one big jar, okay?
I got 3 times. Jeffy, can you give them to me once you're done? How many do you have?
This is what we call a cut flower garden, guys, because you're supposed to cut from it to make bouquets. All right, are we ready? Okay, so this is what's left from the fairy ring. And then here's what the gate garden is looking like the 3rd week of August. It's been 3 weekends now. And as you can see, most of the flowers are still looking great, as are the weeds. Hey, one of these weeds is a common milkweed, though. I'm glad to see it growing, that common milkweed. This is actually a grass. I call it ducktail. I don't know the real name. I actually like the way it looks, but sometimes it can be a nuisance. But anyway, there's some common milkweed in there. So I'm glad to see it because the monarch butterflies really have to have it. And then we have yellow zinnias. And we have, on this side, we have pink cosmos. They were supposed to be orange, but Grandma grabbed the wrong packet. And then we have some yellow marigolds. So I went with all yellows this year. And then we had yellow sunflowers, but I think they have since gone over. Yep. But they were beautiful. I'll have to show you a picture of Jackson with one of his sunflowers. Okay, so there's Emma's side of the cottage garden. Here are Jackson's sunflowers. What's left? He came out and picked some of them because he just really liked them. And then over here is Jeffrey's side of the gate garden. It's starting to go over now, but it's still beautiful. Especially with the corn in the back. See, the corn's, it's going to be ready to be harvested soon. So, okay, and then up here is my iris bed, and I have done some work on it because this part down here was just a weedy mess. The grasses had already grown up around it and you couldn't even see them. So I went in, I redug all of the irises, separated the grasses from the bulb or from the rhizomes, and then I laid down newspaper. I put down newspaper and I put on store-bought dirt that's not supposed to have any weed seeds in it. And so I replanted the irises, hoping that they would not be a weedy mess come spring. And these are going to be yellow down here. I have a pattern. I think it goes purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, and then yellow. So a pattern. I like that combination. It's really pretty in the spring. And then down here, we have daffodils planted, and I'm trying to fill in with dirt. And then I'm also going to lay down newspapers and mulch. But this area, I will not be mulching with wood chips. I will be mulching with sand and pea gravel because irises do not like wood mulch. It keeps them too wet. I've always heard and read that you should not use wood chips around irises because it keeps their rhizomes too wet, and they like for their rhizomes to be dry. All right, and then up here, you guys saw me do this as a project. Okay, so then up here at the peony row, you guys saw me do some work on it, where I dug down about 6 to 8 inches, added some good soil, and then went back and cardboarded and mulched in between. Well, I laid there in bed that night thinking about it, and I still was not happy with the end result because I wanted the peonies to be even higher. So what I did was, the next day I went and bought some really good soil. This time I bought some Miracle-Gro garden soil, not potting soil, but the garden soil. And I came back and I dug out these peony bushes and I laid down 2 bags of the Miracle-Gro in-ground soil to give it like a good 6-inch bottom to the plant. And then I put the shrub in, and then I surrounded it with another bag of the garden soil. So each one of these shrubs have been raised probably a good 6 inches, 6 to 8 inches. So each of these shrubs have been raised, and new soil on the bottom of them and around them and on the top of them. So they are definitely surrounded by what I consider to be good soil now and should thrive better. Now right now they look like heck because, you know, they're starting to drop their leaves. It is time for peonies to start dropping leaves, and because of all the manhandling I did with them, they don't look the best. But in a couple of weeks, in September, I will cut these back, and then in the spring they're going to flush out nicely. Now I will say I don't know if I'll get flowers next year, because once you lift a peony, it usually takes them a year to bounce back. Peonies do not like to be messed with, so they need about a year to recover, but we'll see. I've heard some people say they need a year to recover. No, I've heard some people say, oh, mine came right back. So I don't know what mine is going to do, but to me, it was worth the sacrifice of flowers for 1 year in order to get them planted the way I felt comfortable with. When I first put these peonies in, I'll tell you, I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really understand peonies. But since then, I've done a lot of research, a lot of reading, a lot of YouTube, and have learned a lot more about peonies. And now I feel more satisfied that they're going to turn out to be even better shrubs. So anyway, and I have another one ordered to go right here. This was the center of this bed. That is the center of the bed. So what I did was I wanted to make sure I had like the same number on each side. So that's my center. And then I started with that one and I went 3 feet and 3 feet. And then I started from here, from that one I went over 3 feet. And then I went 3 feet and 3 feet. And then this one's an extra one down here. And I will probably end up putting another one down here at this end so that there are 4 on each side. So this is still a work in progress, but I feel so much better about it. And this is a little side note, but look, there's my cactus garden. It's inside, but there it is. And that's something else I want to do one of these days, is try to figure out a good place to put a cactus garden. And I'm thinking about putting it right up here at the end of this shed, making a raised bed right here. And the reason I'm thinking about that is because underneath there is like, it's not concrete, but it's like the real powdery white limestone stuff that compacts like concrete. So that's not going to be really a good place to plant anything else. Or if I do, it's going to have to be in a raised bed. So I'm thinking if I'm going to put a raised bed here anyway, let's make it cactus friendly. And because it's on the south side of the house and highly protected over here, they should do well in the winter also. In Missouri, we can grow prickly pear, but you do have to have the right situation for them. And I think this is going to be the right situation. A raised bed with cactus soil protected from winter winds. All right. All right, so let's keep on moving. Okay, so that is the tombstone of the very first Hancock, but there's no one there. That was transferred from a different cemetery. But this is a pecan tree. And I'm trying to look, yep, so you can see there's a pecan nut. Some years it's loaded and then it'll take a break. Looks like this might be its break year. Because if I recall, they picked up a lot of pecans last year. So this might be the break year. But it does give us really nice pecans. And then this is a black walnut tree, which also gives us walnuts, but they are hard to crack open. So we don't usually mess with them because they're hard to shell. All right. We're adding a fire pit seating area over here. We don't have, that's just a work in progress. Our fire pit is just a work in progress right now. There's the kids' play area. This is a silver maple, and all those holes up there house woodpeckers. So even though the silver maple is an old tree past its prime, it does serve a purpose. It houses lots of woodpeckers. That's just an old shrub tree. I don't even know what that is. I think it's elm. I'm not sure. Anyway. All right, now we're headed out to the garden area. So you guys saw the video where John got it plowed up. He has not had a chance to till it yet, but he will. And then I'm in charge of the box gardens. So while we're out here, I'm going to go ahead and do a picking. So let me put you guys on the tripod and we'll see what kind of veggies we end up with. All right, so first up we're going to pick cucumbers. These are stray 8 cucumbers, and I brought my green bucket and we're going to see how full we can get it. It is quite breezy today, so you might be jiggling just a little bit because I had to prop you up with some dirt clods to keep you from falling over. Anyway, let's get picking here. It's not supposed to rain, but it is breezy and cloudy. All right, so there's one. Unless it just fallen up. Here's one hanging down. Can y'all see that? Oh, and here's a big one hanging down too. All right, I'm going to bring you in for a closer look on these. There's a little one hanging down. But look at those. See, there's one. There's one. Ooh, here's one. That one's almost too big. We almost let it go too long. All right, so you can see I do have some to pick over here. Let me put you back. Okay. That was kind of... I kept seeing this one. I kept seeing this one, but I had to go around to the other side, inside, to get it. Ooh. So anyway, there's a nice one. Okay, there are a bunch of little ones, but I think I've got the big ones. Let me show you what's left on there. All right, so so see, we still have little ones like that. We have little ones like that. And then we have little ones like that. That one's getting pretty close. That one I might could pick, but I think I've got enough, so I'm going to leave it on there. But yeah, see, they're teeny tiny, and then you can see where they're getting bigger, and then they're starting to reach full growth there. So, like another tiny one in there. There's lots of tiny ones left on here, and still more flowers. Let's see. See, like this one. Here's one that still's got room to grow. So, and then flowers. We still have flowers. So really good cucumber crop this year. Love the trellis. All right. All right, so a really good cucumber picking today. We've had a good year for cucumbers. This trellis system just worked out perfectly, and I just love it. Like I said, into the garden I go to lose my mind and find my soul. This just makes me so happy to be surrounded by all this green, and then to have so much good eating from it. All right, let's go pick peppers. Okay, so John warned me that there were going to be a lot of produce to be picked today, so I went ahead and brought buckets out earlier. So I have a bucket for the peppers here, so let's pick peppers. And remember, I'm only picking from these 4 because these are the green ones. The red and the yellow I will check, but I don't think they've turned just yet. But we should have plenty of green peppers. Although John did tell me that he also took a bucket of peppers to work yesterday. So, but he said he tried to save me some. So anyway, let's see how many peppers we end up with. Okay, not bad. Ooh, that's a pretty one. Look at that. Isn't that pretty, guys? Oh, I see. I guess this are the only 2 big ones. We have a medium-sized one here, and we have some babies. Okay, so we got 2 big ones off of that one plant. I see some medium-sized ones. Oh, here's a big one. I can get it to come off. There we go. All right, look at that one. Isn't that nice? Oh, here's another one. It's kind of up there. Oh, come on. There. Okay. Yep. Okay. I think I might have accidentally picked one off the yellow. They were there side by side, but see how that one's starting to turn? See how this one's dark green and then this one's like lime green? So yeah, that one came off the yellow bush, but it was right next to the green one. So I might probably accidentally grabbed the wrong one there. But anyway, it'll still taste good. All right, guys. So got a whole batch of green peppers and a lime green. But look how big that is. Look how huge that green pepper is. Isn't that a beauty? So very, very happy with the pepper picking today. And this is after John had already taken a bucket yesterday. And let me show you the babies that are still left on here. All right, so just like the cucumbers, there are teeny tiny babies. And then there are some medium-sized ones. Yep. Same over here, little bitty ones. And then see, look, and we still have flowers. So lots more peppers to be picked. We're just getting started. Late season, very late season, but now that we've started, we're starting to get produce. So happy for it. Okay, so yes, very happy with the pepper production this year. These 4 plants down here are the bell sweet pepper green. These 2 are the bell sweet pepper yellow. And then these 2 down here are the bell sweet pepper red. So, and when I was picking over here, I think that's where I accidentally got the yellow one, was right in there, because I thought I was on a green one. But anyway, Moving on. Love the pepper production. Okay, so now I'm going to pick from the tomato box here. These are the Husky Red cherry tomatoes, and those are the Early Girl eating tomatoes. And I brought the bucket for the cherry tomatoes, but I'm going to have to either put the Early Girls in with the cucumbers or go get another bucket because I didn't realize there were quite so many Early Girls ready. Did you come to help me, Paulo? So let's see if I can find some cherry tomatoes, though. I know, I see you. Yeah, you say I need a pet right now, Mom? Okay. Let me go get some of these Early Girls. Well, I managed to get the ones that were red to fit in this bucket here. So the Early Girls, they're really delicious. They really do taste good, but they don't get very big. They don't get big like my Better Boys do, but they're still good eating. So that's what an Early Girl looks like. And I'm happy we planted them. That was actually, we planted them on a subscriber's suggestion. So I thought, yeah, I'll try them. And they are really good. They're just not very big. All right. But I'm going to have to get a bucket for the Better Boys, and we're going to move on down there. Okay, so we are going to move on down to the Better Boys because the Romas, they do need to be picked too, but I'm going to come out later and do them because they're going to need lots of buckets. Okay, but let's go over here to where the Better Boys are at. The one box of Better Boys, because my other box just did not do anything. Okay, so all of the buckets are being used for apples, so I had to grab a tub. But anyway, here we go. We're going to start picking. Some of these are still pretty orangey. And these Better Boys are not as big this year as what I've had in years past. I've been talking to surrounding gardeners and farmers, and they said that the tomatoes this year are late, not as productive, and not as big. And that's what I'm experiencing too. But I am happy for what we do have. So. Nope, that one came off even though it was kind of orangey. If I have an orange one that I accidentally get that's too orangey, we just set it in the windowsill to finish off. Oh, look at that one. Oh, look. Look at this one, guys. Isn't that a cutie? They are grown together. It looks like a mama holding her baby. This might be my thumbnail. there's a good one. All right, so this is what I ended up with for today. John was out yesterday picking too. So these have already been picked over yesterday, and now I'm getting the remaining today, some more today. John likes to come out every morning and pick because he likes to have them for his lunch, and he likes to take some to coworkers. And but I told him, I said, I want to do a picking video, so tried to leave me some, and he did leave me some. But I know we have gotten buckets and buckets of cucumbers and peppers and the cherry tomatoes. Now the full-size early girls and the full-size better boys, they're just now starting to come on. A lot of them are still very, very orange or even green, but they'll eventually get here. And then the Romas, I need to come out and do a picking of them, and I use them for canning. So I want to come out when I'm ready to get them frozen, and I'm not quite ready to do that today. So that's why I'm not picking Romas today. Even though there are some ready, I'm going to come out probably tomorrow when I have more time to pick them, because I'm going to freeze them. All right, but I think we're done with the picking today. So let's continue our walk. Let me show you what all we got, and then we'll continue the walk. Okay, so I went and got all the buckets, gathered them together here. So we have 3/4 of a bucket of straight 8 cucumbers. We have a bucket of the bell sweet pepper, green ones. We have a half a tub, probably looks like maybe a dozen of the Better Boy tomatoes. We have about a dozen of the early girl tomatoes. And then we have a bucket full of the Husky Red cherry tomatoes. So good day of picking. Okay, so a very good day of picking, family and friends, but we need to continue our August walk. I'm going to skip the machine shed and barn lot for this walk because I have a feeling this is going to be long enough. So we're going to leave the box garden here. And we're going to continue our walk down by the outbuildings. Very happy with this box garden. Very happy with the trellis. And we did get some corn. Not as much as we normally do, but we did get some. Okay, so over here, that is a big squash plant. That is a volunteer squash plant. And John has been out here picking some, taking them to work, and there's more coming on. You can see flowers down in there. So yes, and that's a volunteer squash plant. Okay, family and friends, so now we're going to walk down past all of these outer buildings here, and I'll tell you a little bit about each one of them. And you can kind of see how they all are in a row there with the house. I just love that view. All right, and then here is the brooder house. And I cleaned it out because I'm very happy to say that we will be getting baby chicks in the spring. I think I'm going to wait for spring, but it is going to be ready. And the reason that we are getting baby chicks in the spring is because we are getting water. We contacted the water district. They sent us a contractor. And so now we will have hydrants in the places we need for them to be. And one of those hydrants, frost-free hydrant, is going to go right there so that I can water chickens without dragging the hose. and so that we can water the garden without dragging. Well, we'll still have to drag a hose, but it'll only have to be from here instead of all the way from the house. So yes, we will have a frost-free water hydrant this fall. In fact, we're supposed to have it by the middle of September. So in about a month, we're going to have a hydrant. And then I can get the chickens I want. I'm just getting too old during the winter to be hauling water from the house through the snow across the ice. I don't really mind the snow, but when there's ice, I just about killed myself one year hauling water because of ice. I'm not doing that anymore. And I won't have to, because the water hydrant will be there. And then all I have to do is open this door, slide in the waters, and have the chickens I want. All right. So that will be an improvement coming soon. You guys saw us put up the fence that I wanted, and I'll tell you what that fence is for in just a minute. We got to get around there. So now we're down to my potting shed. I set out all of the tree materials because I'm hoping that's going to be the next project. So I'm hoping the next project is going to be wrapping the trees to protect them from deer, bunny, and lawnmowers. And then tree skirts that help to mulch your trees, and then staking the trees. And then my garden shed's not looking just too bad for as much as we've been using it. I've been keeping the weed eater in here because I've been the one that's been having to do the weed eating. And then here are all the augers that go to my drill, which I did get. I have my replacement drill now, so I'm very happy about that. Very good company to work with. In case you didn't know, I had ordered the Power Planter drill and auger set. And after the first time of using the augers to put in the fruit trees, it started smoking and completely shut down and would not restart. So I called the company and they sent me a return label, and I sent the old one back and got a new one. And then here's my new tool rack this year with some of my new tools. The blue ones. See, I used to use these wooden ones, and they're getting old and they're hard on the hands. So I got some new blue ones called Cobalts. And they are so easy on the hands. I really love my Cobalts. Okay, but anyway, not a whole lot has changed in the potting shed, except for the fact that a few more tools are being stored in here for now. So I love my potting shed. It's starting to get pretty full, but I still love it. It serves. Uh-oh. That was Jackson's shovel. Jackson must be saying, Grandma, I want to come shovel with you. Why didn't that stay up there? I don't know. He hung it up. He must not have had it in there just right. Okay. Anyway, here's my potting shed. And I love my potting shed. It is very full. I use everything in here. Well, I don't exactly use my knickknacks up here other than the fact they bring me mental happiness. If that counts as a job, then yes, my shelf has a job, because these things make me happy. The birdhouse my brother bought for me for my birthday one year. The lantern is from my daughter's bridal shower. My grandkids gave that to me one year for my garden. I love seashells. So I've had this seashell since high school. And then of course, you know, I like gnomes. Faith, hope, and love. And then this up here, that flower, that was my mom's. It's actually a bird water, like it has little cups. Those flowers are like little cups that hold water. And then my sign, I dream of a world where chickens can cross the road without having their motives questioned. This was my brother's. These were my brother's, his tools. These were from my daughter's bridal shower. So, yeah. So everything in this potting shed is either useful, physically useful, or mentally useful. All right. And you're useful too, aren't you, Paulo? Yes, you're physically useful because you chase away the deer and the rabbits and the squirrels and the, yeah. And you're also mentally useful because you make me happy. I know, I know. Do I make you happy too? Huh? Yes, I do. All right. All right, so we're continuing the walk here. All right, so here's the front of the potting shed. You guys saw me decorate it, and those flowers are looking gorgeous. Look how beautiful those flowers are. Okay, and you guys saw us put up the fence. My grandsons were out the other day helping me move peonies and raise peonies. Okay, and so what I think I'm going to be doing with this fence is adding some whimsical metal art. I like metal art, and I want it to be fun over here in this corner. So not only will it provide a nice backdrop, for any shrubs or plants I put in there, but it'll be a place that I can display some fun garden art. We're back to the orchard, and my next job will be to come over here and pick up those apples. See that blue jay? Did y'all see the blue jay? So yes, next thing on the list, picking apples. We have more mulch because we want to continue to raise the ground level on this side. You can kind of see where the gravel level is a little bit higher than the ground level. So we're working on having those two sections match up better. Up here in the front, we had put down gravel for the family reunion, and it worked out well. Gravel looks really nice. The picnic tables worked well. We have our sitting area over there. So yeah, everything's starting to look good, and it's going to even look better soon because Matt Kendrick, our son-in-law, is building us 2 new porches, and they should be done sometime this fall. He has to build a ramp for John there so that John can get up it with his scooter after he has his foot surgery. So he said, well, if I'm coming over to build the ramp, I might as well just replace the whole porch. So that's what he's going to do. And the ramp is going to be detachable. So, because we had it like that once before. He had built a ramp down over the steps, and then after we were finished using it, he removed the ramp so that we could use the steps. And then he'll also be doing the same thing to this porch over here. He's also going to make each porch a little bit wider Instead of being 6 feet, he's going to extend them to be 8 feet. So that'll be nice. Isn't that sunflower beautiful? And it's still standing. Okay, family and friends, well, that's going to do it for the August walk around. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit long, but I had so many exciting things to show you and tell you. And I'm just so happy anytime I can be out here at the Hancock Homestead. Because as my shirt says, and into the garden I go to lose my mind and find my soul. And I have been finding my heart and soul all summer long out here on the homestead, and still looking forward to fall. Okay, family and friends, well, if you liked this August walk around, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to know more about what's going on in my corner of the world, hit that subscribe button to Kilm's Country Corner. And I appreciate you being here with me today, and I will talk to you all later. Bye for now. Awesome walk, awesome day.